Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to another episode of our Motivation Monday series. And I hope you guys had an awesome weekend. I hope you're able to get out there and capitalize on some of this great weather. It was a little chillier than I would have liked it to have been, but nevertheless, it was still a great weekend. All right, so again, today's series, our topic is going to be on the bounce back. And so I thought this was pretty appropriate. I recently had the opportunity to watch the Dodgers play baseball, and I am by no means a huge professional baseball fan, but I am an athletic fan. I am a fan of athletes. And it was pretty cool. I tuned in, I believe it was on Wednesday, and I saw them tear this thing up within the first inning. And I was just wondering what drove that kind of playing. And I found out that a couple of games before that they weren't doing so well. And so it got me thinking, how often in life do we run into problems, and they're extreme or they sit us down or knock us on our butts? And do we give up? Or do we look to the other side of things and say, you know what, the next time a situation comes around, I'm going to go that much harder? And I think that's what the Dodgers did. All right. And so I would just like to start off by saying no one is exempt from hard times. All right. So, as usual, I like to start these things off with a quote. And today's quote is going to come from Eric Thomas. All right. So, I'm obviously a fan of his. And one of the things he says is that pain is temporary. It may last for a minute or an hour or a day or even a year, but eventually it will subside and something else will take its place. If I quit, however, it will last forever. All right. And so, my question to you all is, what will it take for you to forgive yourself? All right. So, as usual, this podcast is put together for the individual that's aspiring to do something else with their lives. But we all know whenever you're looking to do something, Murphy's Law, whatever can go wrong seems to go wrong. And I remember once upon a time, I saw this as an absolute. And I thought that when this bad thing occurred, that would be the end all be all. Well, fortunately, I embarked on this journey that allowed me to see the opportunity in setbacks. All right. And so, if you look throughout our history as a civilization, there hasn't been a time where we've advanced that wasn't preceded by some kind of failure. Usually it's the failure of a system that encourages the growth of another. So if we look back to some of our greatest inventors, I mean, if we want to go far back, we look at Thomas Edison and his 1,000 failures before he ever had that one success with the light bulb. Or if we want to go more recently and look at Elon Musk and his SpaceX program, how we had three unsuccessful launches before he had the very first successful one. But had they given up and had they not taken the opportunity to dig a little deeper and look through the adversity and stay focused on their mission, where will we be currently? It would be a pretty dark life to live. And who would have thought that a private industry could get us into space again? But had he given up, that wouldn't have been possible at all. Or at least we wouldn't have known the limits of success in that particular area. All right. So every person who ever does anything has their fair share of failures. It's inevitable. It's just the way that things go. It's just the way that it has to be. But here in our lives, when we're talking about fitness and things like that, oftentimes we train to failure. Well, I understand that in life, you may not want to push the boundary so far to the point of failing. However, at work, that's not quite the same return on your investment that you're looking to see in the gym. We actually try to avoid failure a little bit at work so we can kind of stay within our guidelines or our benchmarks. However, when we're looking to advance or push the envelope, it's going to take a little bit of discomfort and sometimes, yeah, a little bit of failure. All right, so we're going to talk about dealing with adversity and more or less in the gym, how that can help us push past those obstacles. If you follow me on Facebook here recently, I did a show talking about plateaus and pushing through walls. All right, so this podcast is going to go right in line with that idea. All right, so when I did that show, I didn't really talk about any strategies you could use to your benefit to try to push past those things. So they were going to hit on that a little bit more in depthly. All right. So one of the things I like to do whenever I hit a hard time is I find it very comforting to take inventory. All right. So life happens. And when it does, we hopefully respond. Hopefully we move past the point of just reacting. All right. And one of the things you can do to respond to life when it tends to punch you in the stomach is take inventory. Surely when the dark times come, it's so easy to get caught up in what's happening to you. It's so easy to get caught up in what's happening right in front of your face, which makes it a little more difficult to see all of those great things you did to get to this point. So sometimes it's helpful to take inventory. If you listen to me at all, one of the things I'm pretty big on is writing it down. And not just for the sake of writing it down or just having something to read for the day, but also so that when you hit those hard times, you can go back and look throughout your lifetime as far as your recorded history and say, dang, like there have been other times in life where I've had to overcome some kind of obstacle. Or even if you don't want to look at it from that standpoint, you can say, look at all the things that I've done that prove that I can be successful when I apply myself. This one thing that I just will happen to slip up on or fall back on doesn't necessarily define who I am. That's only if I allow it to. All right. And going right along with that is looking for the lesson in the failure, looking for the lesson in the mistake. And so I've always liked to think that the marking of a true wise person was their ability to extract the lesson from every situation. So even if it didn't necessarily go according to whatever that plan was, which most things don't, you're able to learn the lesson from that situation and hopefully next time either avoid it or learn what it takes to get through it a little easier than you had to this past time. All right. So life is definitely about being able to be flexible and being able to accept that you are a masterpiece while still being a work in progress. And then one of my favorite sayings, as always, is to keep moving forward. Don't get so caught up on what happened yesterday. Don't get so caught up on the idea that, uh, let's tell a story. So I have the privilege of working with a handful of people. I don't want to say it's too big nor is it too small, but I've been blessed to be in a position that I'm in. And it's very, very rewarding to be a part of the process. And so here recently, one of the people that I work with, they ran into an obstacle and box jumps. I don't know how many of you guys are familiar with them, but box jump seems to be one of their great challenges. And it's interesting because when you look at life, I know for a fact that this individual has done some amazing things up until this point. I've been a part of the process, so I've been able to see them grow. I've been able to watch them come into the gym from day one, not really being able to do any push-ups, and now they're doing them with ease, and then conquering pull-ups, moving on to bigger and better things in that area. However, when it comes to the area of box jumps, it's just a mind game. It's just something that's happening in their mind where they reflect on the time when they slipped up instead of remembering all the times before that they made it. And it's ironic that their success rate when it comes to making these box jumps is probably 80 to 90%. But for some reason that last 10% gets to them, And I wonder how many times for us in general as people do we allow, when we hit the unexpected road bump or the unexpected stumbling block, do we allow that kind of uh instance to, throw off our progress, or do we allow it to get in our minds and kind of mess up our game plans? How often does that happen? How often does that happen to you? But I believe that if you take inventory of the things you've done well, if you look for the lessons so that you can try to get around the things that are kind of messing you up currently, it will allow you to keep moving forward and keep moving forward, knowing that, what you're aiming for is going to require you to mess up sometimes. Everyone slips, everyone falls. Me and this same person were talking about Instagram one day, and they aren't really a fan of Instagram. And to each their own. I'm not really a huge fan of social media. However, I realize its importance. But this person, however, they kind of feel that Instagram is kind of where everyone just highlights their best qualities, and I could not agree more. But you have to realize that as many times as people post those really great selfies and post all these really great videos, there were tens to maybe even 100 more videos and pictures that didn't get posted because they didn't quite fit so well. So remember, not everyone posts, their failures. Not everyone is willing to put their mistakes out there for everyone to see. And the fact that you're having those failures and having those setbacks doesn't make you less worthy of the things you're looking forward to accomplishing in your life. It's just a matter of, again, taking inventory, looking for the lesson, and moving forward. All right. So this podcast isn't going to be quite as long. I really just wanted to hash out these 3 tips because I realized in the last thing I did, I didn't really give you guys anything to follow through with. All right. And as usual, I'll end this with a little bit of something that I put together for you all. All right. So I believe that life presents all of us with the opportunity to expand or shrink. In any given situation, we can become more of whom we like to be or fall into a narrative that no longer fits us. Oftentimes, these circumstances are addressed in some form of struggle or objective, while in other instances, they are disguised as personal dilemmas that challenge our character and resolve. They may come in the form of distractions or full-on upheavals of current success. At any and all instances, this is life asking you the most important questions. How badly do you want your dreams? And what are you willing to go through to prove it? All right. So today was short and sweet. I hope you guys were able to take something from this. Hope it benefits you today. Hope it benefits you this week so that when you run into that hard time or that setback, you have a better idea of how to handle it. And you don't let that one small mistake or that one slip up define you. Realize you are worthy of all the things you want to have in life as long as you're willing to put in the work to have it. All right. So I hope you enjoyed the show today. If you would like to follow me on Facebook, you can follow me by my name, John Waters, and I have the tagline of Unlock Your Greatness. If you would like to follow the Three Pillars Facebook page, it is Three Pillars Fitness LLC. If you would like to follow me on Instagram, my name is underscore 3P Fitness. And again, for the business page, that would just be Three Pillars. All right. Have an awesome week. Have a great day. And yeah, keep pushing. Greatness awaits.